Boker Tov. Shalom Habarim. Good AM time, right? And hello friends, greetings and welcome. Today's presentation is about how to actually, maintain the permanent and maximum amount of health, even increasingly in your life, even during all of your life and eternally. In other words, in this vlog, I'm going to explain to you very simply how you can actually be healthy all the time for the complete and total time that you were alive, even up to 144 years. It's very simply by being prudent and practically applying wisdom in your life and knowing how life is cyclical and utilizing the life cycles for healing. It's that simple. That's how it works. That's how it's done. Now, the good news is that it's easier than it may sound, because all you have to do is have a little bit of wisdom and prudence, and then what happens is you're basically healthy all the time. The reason is because you make wise decisions all the time. Now, as I said again, it is easier than it sounds. With a little bit of self-discipline and prudence, you as a human being can actually live very good for very, very long. Because, you see, it all adds up in terms of the decisions that we make. So we're talking about the lifestyle choices, the food you eat, and even the mindset and the what do they call that? The mood and how you sort of keep yourself, in a happy. So first of all, the key is one has to understand the fact that life is cyclically ordered into a perfect system. Now, life has been ordered into cycles. This is the case for everybody. It does not matter who you are, where you're from, what your name is. The universe has been perfectly created by the Creator, and it has been made so that it works according to a certain system that cannot be changed by man. Nor does it have to be. And in fact, it's good because it serves us in a good way. It's what is known as, and it's a very grand subject matter of the cycles of life. Now, the key is to basically have a systematic overview of the life cycles that you're in, and then live in harmony with them. Then what happens is your complete and total life is sustainably very good and increasingly very good. And it gets better and better, right? Now, this logic is really simple. As far as the life cycles go, as pertaining to any human being, right, as it's relevant to us, it is the case that you have about 9 different cycles of life that are relevant. First of all, the longest one is essentially the 144-year simple overall period of human life, where we as humans basically can live up to about 144 years physically, while at the same time life is of course eternal. Okay? Then you have your soul personality based on your birthday. That is unique to every person. Then you have a simple overall period of human life of 144 years, right? So that's like cycle number, the longest one basically, next to the soul personality that is also interesting. You should monitor that, okay? Now, then you have the annual life cycle period, always starting on the birthday of a human being, right? Basically, exactly when this person or when any human takes their first breath, that's when their annual life cycle period starts. Identifiable via your birthday. And it is about 365 days in length, and it's divided into 7 segments of about 52 days. Now, in every one of these 7 52-day segments, it is particularly propitious or very good for certain things in the areas of business, personal, and health life. Okay? Then you have the short and long lunar units of 3.5 days that alternate between negative and positive. These are identifiable via the dates of the new moon or the full moon. Okay. Then you've got the short lunar units of 3 hours that alternate between negative and positive. Okay? They're identifiable by and from reading a tide chart from the nearest maritime location to wherever you are. Okay? Then you've got the daily periods of the cycles of life of 3 hours and 25 minutes, whereof there are 7 different ones, and there are 7 every day. So you've got about 9 different cycles of life that you should pay attention to at minimum on a daily basis. Because that way you know what time it is for what good things in your life, including things like health improvement and healing and like therapeutic methods and just things that we can do as human beings that lead to our health increasing, and also, if necessary, healing and things like this. It's sort of comparable, if I were to compare this to a very simple example, like knowing that, okay, during the rainy season, there's going to be a lot of irrigation happening versus during the summer season, right? So it's the same thing. It's the same cycles of life and the laws of nature and order in the universe, okay? Now, here's the thing. If one would be very self-disciplined and prudent, and one of the things is that, see, where this really becomes a little bit of a challenge, yet it's something that is very rewarding if you have the ability to discipline yourself, is actually by what you eat. That's like the most relevant thing related to our health on a daily, is like what we eat. Because I can choose from so many different things at the grocery store. I can eat this, I can eat that, but I have to force myself to make decisions that I know are sustainably good for my health, right? Now, if and when you actually, quote unquote, feel an urge, right? It could be an urge to smoke a cigarette. It could be an urge to eat chocolate cake. One has to be truthfully merciful with oneself to a certain degree and not too strict, because asceticism is not a solution. Wisdom equals good life and good safety and good health and wealth and all good things in life as provided by the Creator via his helpmate, the perfect helpmate of wisdom. Okay. Now that being said, you got to remember that there is a way to actually technically and wisely overcome any potential sort of an obstacle in life, and also to accomplish any good thing or objective in life. There is essentially a way to heal any, problems, any health problems. There's a way to heal it all because of how nature works. One has to remember that it's like the more the more wood you put in the fire, the hotter it's going to burn. And so you've always got to think about what you're producing right now in your life, how you're producing your destiny based on the wise actions and decisions that you make now. Now, I can tell you for a fact that I know how to maintain good health, and even where those who would say, we've heard of this, where there have been humans that literally went to doctors and they told them, hey, that's it, there's nothing we can do for you. That is absolutely out of place. It is not meet, it's not fit, it's not right for a doctor to prognostize to somebody and prophesize to a human being that they're going to die. That is not right. A physician is a healer, and that is their task. A healer or a physician's task is not to prophesize in the place of God and tell somebody that, well, there's nothing we can do anymore, you're going to die. That doesn't work. And it happens. I've heard about it in different countries. You should know that there is always hope because of divine providence and because of the love of God and the fact that, see, His providence is eternal. And part of that providence is wisdom. And with that wisdom, one can make humans healed and healthy against all so-called odds or bad prognoses or any type of humanly conceived limitations or imagined obstacles. What I'm saying is that the absolute miraculous and trustworthy healing mechanisms and even health maintenance and increase mechanisms, they come from the Creator, the life giver, and they are, let's say, operated and accessed by wisdom. And that is the absolute health care and security that there is. There are numerous examples of this. I wish I had more time right now. I have to take a bus in a minute. I've talked to humans who have had operations performed, and they told me that they didn't work. See? That's because there's a time and a place when an operation will work, and there's a time and a place when it won't work. Knowing this, comprehending this, is similar to standing at the ocean and knowing when the tide comes in and when it goes out. And knowing that, hey, if you're going to row against the tide, it's going to be hard. If you're going to row with the tide, it's going to be easy, right? It's the same logic, just more minute details of it. Any human should rest assured that there is, in fact, always a way to sort of salvage and even heal a human, no matter what anybody says. There is... Hold on a second. And even more so, if a physician or a doctor, that is a very, honorable profession also, says to someone, hey, there's nothing we can do for you, you're going to die. Don't trust in that and don't agree with that, because that's wrong. It's actually totally wrong. It's not how life works, nor is it how life was intended to work. There's always a way to fix things. You just have to know how. Now, here's the thing. What's interesting is that a lot of times you hear of different humans and they get some bad prognosis given to them, and then they actually think and they start to actually believe the nonsense, or let's say the foolishness and the folly that was told to them. That's the error. You can't... Instead, trust in what the Creator accurately and truthfully communicated us and to us through the Holy Law. Listen to what God says and what wisdom indicates. That's where it is, and it's proven to be true and more trustworthy than anything else for over 7,515 years and going strong.